What's going on, everyone? This is your gracious host, The Devil's Advocate, and I'm here to get a discussion going with y'all and keep the conversation flowing. Let's get it. So, I just got back from the Superman movie, and it met all of my expectations. I wasn't expecting this to be the worst movie, and I wasn't expecting this to be the best. I thought the story was decent. However, it just needed to be a lot longer, I think. It needed to be at least 4 hours. Now, if I don't think the movie is great, why would I think it needs to be longer? That's exactly why I felt the story was not rushed per se, but it just left a lot of holes unfilled. The visuals were pretty cool. The fight scenes were great. However, some of the characters I think look pretty stupid. I thought Mr. Terrific just looked stupid, for the lack of a better term. I thought Superman's undergarments were just stupid. I would say he was probably the worst. If not, the only person worse than Superman was the Green Lantern. I don't know what that hairstyle was, but they either half-assed this movie on purpose doing that to Green Lantern, or the people who made this movie were just really old and they just wanted to go back in time with that hairstyle. I don't know what Green Lantern was, but that was just kind of sus. I would have loved to see more fighting from Ultraman and the Nanobite lady, Lex Luthor's goons. I thought they were pretty good. And that's part of why this movie needed to be 4 hours. There needed to be a ton of fighting between Lex Luthor's goons and like Hawk Girl and Green Lantern and Superman and all that. Just the, 2 or 3 fight scenes we get of them. I don't think that was enough. It's not enough to fill an action junkie's palate. Crypto was kind of unnecessary in this movie. It wasn't bad. He was just a messy-looking dog. I understand it would defy the laws of physics to have a dog with, neat hair all the time flying around at that speed, but it was just a little messy-looking. It's just really annoying, not really well-behaved. Crypto didn't really need to be in this movie. Crypto didn't ruin it, but kind of extra. We got to talk about Lois Lane. I thought the actor who portrayed her did a phenomenal job. I would say a little better than Amy Adams from the previous Superman. And I don't even like Lois Lane as a character that much. I just thought she kind of interrupts the story. Personally, I'm not a big fan of any romance in a superhero movie. So a lot of those shows like The Flash and The Arrow on the CW networks where they always have a love interest, I thought many of those can do away with. But I got to give it to Lois Lane. I forgot the real actor's name, but she did a great job as Lois Lane. Even the dialogue between them, the emotions she stirred up, she was able to just really give a Broadway play-like performance with her. So kudos to her. And many other supporting actors were great too. I mean, you had Wendell Pierce as Perry White. You had the Eve character that was Lex Luthor's girlfriend. And you had her side piece was Steve Lombardi, who worked at the Daily Planet along Lois Lane. So everyone's acting was pretty good in this movie. Now, Lex Luthor himself is a bit too young in this movie. I know it's a Superman movie that's supposed to be the genesis to everything, or it's supposed to be a young Superman, and of course Lex Luthor would have to be young himself, but even for a superhero genre where you can be as fictional as you want to be, that was a bit too much of a stretch to have a dude in his 30s with all that technology and just him knowing all about Superman's movesets. He was just too young, so that kind of threw it off for me. Acting was great. I mean, Nicholas Hoult, the actor, he is 35, so if we're going to go with that, we'll say he was 35 in this movie. The earliest or the youngest he would be is 33, assuming that they started shooting this movie 2 years ago. He would be 33 at the youngest. Still kind of unrealistic. I mean, Lex Luthor was he was angry, but he looked just happy-go-lucky. He looked like a trust fund kid. He looked like, he didn't just look, he was jubilant, he was agile, he seemed like a physically fit guy, so a dude with those qualities, for him to just be an angry nerd, to say the least, was just kind of reaching. But the dynamic between Superman and Lex Luthor is great. I love Lex Luthor's envy of him. I love how he's self-aware. I love how he just admits in the movie that he is jealous of Superman. That was really cool to see. This kind of reminds me of Batman and Joker, how that their dynamic is just so overt. It's not really a covert thing with Superman and Lex Luthor. I mean, that was pretty cool to see. I think they nailed it on that, on establishing like the relationship dynamic. But going back to how young Lex Luthor is in this movie, I mean, there's no way, again, that a dude in his 30s already has his own pocket universe. That is some ultra stay locked in my basement kind of creation thing he had going on. I mean, I don't know how accurate to the comics books this movie was, but damn, I mean, you had a physically fit young dude who looks like he inherited all of his money from his parents just choose to just focus on a metahuman. That's weird. If you're a comic book fan, please let me know if they got this casting right, because I thought it was a miscast. And even though Nicholas Holt's acting was good, it's just a little too much of a reach. Let me take that back. Maybe not a miscast, but just the character in general is just kind of off. Perhaps the biggest elephant in the room with this movie was Mr. Terrific. I mean, that dude was terrible. I like the idea of him. I like his superhero-ness and all that, but they made him just no soul, no pizzazz to him, just no emotion. It's almost like those super smart dudes, or dudes that are so smart that you meet, or women too. Anyone that's your job who's really smart, they just don't have any emotion, they have no consideration for people's decisions or anything like that. They're just all intellectual. I mean, I hate that they did that to Mr. Terrific. They didn't give him a personality. He felt like a token, to be honest. He felt like an exploitation character. When he said, "What's the skinny?" I'm like, come on, man. I wouldn't even say it's his fault that delivery was all wrong. No, that was just a terrible line. I mean, I'm sure the actor hated saying that too, but man, that was really my biggest thing with this movie is his exploitation. It was like he was just a token. I don't know what those old dudes casting him thought. I think they just wanted a, dare I say it, neutered black guy in this movie. I'm going to rewind back what I said. I said those old dudes casting. Perhaps it wasn't just old people casting. Maybe it was a bunch of young, people casting them. But either way, they are either just stuck in with this idea. They're just not in touch with people outside of like their studio jobs, or they really are just maliciously trying to cast people. But damn, is all I could say about Mr. Terrific. Now, here's where I'm going to be the devil's advocate. I'm going to suggest that James Gunn and the DC Universe people, maybe they don't want a super successful film series. It's often said that the reward for hard work is more hard work. So if they were to just be really successful in these movies, they'd have to keep up the image of everything. They'd have to do so many contract negotiations. I don't know the details of how they do staffing and casting and all that. That's outside of my realm, but maybe they just are content, the studios I'm talking about, maybe they're just content with doing these one-off films once in a while for like the new generation. Every like 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, you have these young kids growing up, hey, another Superman film. We don't have to continue everything. So I'm going to give, like I pretty much always do, I'm going to give James Gunn and everyone else the benefit of the doubt with this movie. And that's where I'm going to land my plane. And that's all I got for today. I'm going to end it here. If you guys like what you heard, please like and subscribe. Let's get a conversation going down below. Peace. See you at the next one.